Hello, I'm Fezenclop and welcome back to my channel. Today we will be continuing with the series on changes I would make to try to save DC Comics. In my previous videos I covered changes I would make to DC, and then I discussed changes I would make to Green Lantern. I then followed that up with a video on Batman. I don't know how you put these links in the video thing, or I'd try to do that. But I'm still planning on doing a Superman video. That's going to be the next one, I think. But it's going to be probably 2 weeks instead of 1 week that I've managed to do so far. Today, of course, we are discussing Wonder Woman. So let's get started with the changes I would make to DC Comics characters starring Wonder Woman today. And you can cue the theme from the 1975 TV series starring Linda Carter. Right now, hold on to your tiaras. Background, of course, first of all, she appeared in 1941. She was the creation of William Moulton Marston, one of the creators for the polygraph machine. Diana comes from the island of Themyscira. She was sculpted from clay by her mother, Queen Hippolyta, and blessed by the gods of Olympus. In 2011, this was retconned by DC Comics, so now she is the daughter of Zeus. And I had that idea over a year before they did. I'm kind of irritated about it, but what can you do? They're the ones who have the copyright, right? This was she was created during World War II, and she's her main love interest was Steve Trevor, who crashed on the island, and she left with him to go fight the Nazis. Go to man's world and try to save them from themselves and show them the way of love and niceness and all that kind of thing. Um, in the last storyline of the old series before Crisis on Infinite Earths, the two of them actually were married. I think they were actually married by Zeus himself. However, Diana has had other men in her life. Superman and Batman have both fallen for the Amazon. Diana has had a number of variations of her costume from the original, which you can see here, to the costume worn by Linda Carter. And from what I can tell, she looks like she could still fit in that thing, which is absolutely frightening. I, I can't fit in stuff I wore 6 months ago. Um, and of course, they had a certain style to them, a certain pattern. They had these stripes on the shorts, or I think the culottes was what she wore originally. I always thought that was a skirt, but in looking this up, that's actually a pair of shorts women used to wear for riding. Um, Stars on the shorts, the red boots or sandals, and the red top with the eagle or the W, and a tiara. She has the lasso of truth, and that's the primary color pattern of it. It's always been a bright color, catches the eye. Of course, in comic books, you do that. You want that to be able to catch the attention to the superheroes. You know who they are that way. That's been the primary color scheme. Few changes have been temporarily made over the years. Some alterations to the cut and the fit and all that. Now, in 2010, the costume was changed. Apparently, was changed for good, and they took some of these things out. They darkened the colors. They changed the pattern on the top. Um, okay, as far as fixes go, one, as I've mentioned, I think in every one of these videos, things need to be set down, basically carved into stone. You don't want people changing her personality. You don't want people changing her background. You don't want all these alterations being made from story to story. You need some consistency. And, you know, well, we need her to be flighty this week, and we need her to be hyper intelligent this week. She's going to have a set personality. And that personality is she's a warrior, but she's also a kind and caring person. Strong-willed and determined. She's going to do the right thing. In combat, she doesn't want to kill. She'll try to avoid killing someone, but if that's the only way to stop what's going on, she'll do it. She won't like it, but she'll do it. And she's a warrior, so she's not going to really be torn up about it for very long. She'll go, is there something I could have done differently? And she'll try to learn from the experience. In a war, she'll fight like a soldier. She'll be a warrior. She'll go out there and do what has to be done. But she's not going to go out of her way to kill someone, and she's not just going to sit back and go, oh well. Her costume would be set in the classic style, like Linda Carter. I may pull that up again here. You can see her in her outfit again. The Eagle or the WW style, there are versions that have kind of a combination of the two. Would probably go with that. Maybe start off with the Eagle and change it somewhere down the line, like they did originally. Now, to establish her world, I'm going to start back where she was on the island. Steve Trevor crashes on Themyscira, and Diana ends up leaving with him to fight the Nazis. Then later on, for reasons we'll get into momentarily, she returns to Themyscira, and she stays there until the beginning of the comic book run, modern day, and she's returned to man's world. Now, while Superman has been associated with Metropolis, Batman has Gotham City, Wonder Woman's been associated with different places. Washington, D.C., Boston, London, and I think in the movie series she spent a lot of time in Paris. That's in France, not the one in Kentucky. I don't think they have a Louvre Museum in Kentucky. Anyway, but instead we're going to move her somewhere different, somewhere away from the big two, and put her in Tampa, Florida. And I'll go into why here in just a second. I wanted her somewhere near the ocean, though, and some distance from Superman and Batman up in Metropolis and Gotham City. In the real world, superheroes would come from all over. That's one thing I would try to do, is scatter them out a little bit. With the troubles that go on in the Gulf, with hurricanes and with flooding you can get from bad enough storms, and also all the corruption that exists around places like New Orleans, they would need all the help they could get. And someone like Wonder Woman would be able to help with ships that are caught in storms and recovery efforts, because the kind and caring person that she is, she would want to be somewhere where she could do a lot of good that way. Wet the whistle before we get into the controversy here. And so let's get into this. This is what I was talking about, a big change coming up. And this is going to be a big change to at least a couple of her allies. During her time working with Steve Trevor back around World War II, he was in his late 40s when they meet. The two of them fall in love. Shortly after the war, they actually get married. And the two settle down, much as a spy and a superheroine can, in Steve's hometown of Tampa, Florida. I tried to find a place where Steve could call his hometown. Nothing was listed anywhere I could find it. And a blonde-haired, blue-eyed man like Steve Trevor could very well be from the coast of Florida. And if that wasn't enough, Steve and Diana have a baby. That's right, Diana is a mother. And what is the name of her child? Donna. That's right. Where Donna Troy was Diana's sister, this time she is Donna Trevor, Diana's daughter. You know, after all the strange origins that Donna has had, everything from being Titan to being just a girl in a burning building, I decided to make up my own, and it fit into what I was trying to do of something different. So, Donna Trevor. Makes more sense than some of the others I've heard, and it works in the narrative. Now, when Donna was about 8 to 10 years old, her father dies, natural causes, heart attack or a stroke. And he's in his 50s by now, and being a man of his time, he's either a smoker or he's around a lot of smokers and secondhand smoke. So he would die of natural causes. Now, if he had died in the line of duty or been assassinated or something like that, Diana would have dedicated her life to bringing that organization or that government or whatever down. But, you know, he was a mortal man. He died from something mortal men die of. You know, still that devastates both of them. they're just devastated by it, so they go back to Themyscira to heal and recover. However, Donna is not well received by the other Amazons. Her mother, according to what some of them believe, had married a mortal and sullied herself, dirtied herself, and even worse, had his spawn, and stayed with him to raise the girl with this man there. So, despite being the granddaughter of the queen, she's not treated well by some of them. She's the only one on the island her age, which makes things worse. And by the time Diana and the queen realize there's a problem, Donna and these Amazons, they don't want it revealed, so they keep it on the down low, and Donna tries to deal with it herself. Years later, at some point, a teenage Donna rebels and leaves the island. Diana follows, and the two end up getting back together and meeting and set up in Tampa again. Perhaps even at the same house they used to live in before. Shortly after they arrive, or maybe as they arrive, there's a hurricane or some kind of natural disaster in the Gulf. So they're instantly back in there helping others again. Only now, Donna has powers of her own so that she can throw her weight in. It reminds Diana of her time when Steve was alive and when she would help people all the time. So that would bring back old feelings. She feels like she's closer to Steve than she was when she was on Themyscira. The two would work together for a time, kind of a Batman Robin vibe. Eventually, if and when the Titans got started or another team that filled the same niche, Donna would be a founding member of that. And it would be kind of amusing to be able to have the two of them walking down the beach just talking to each other. And in the background, you see a bunch of guys doing crazy things like walking into poles and tripping over stuff that isn't there. Anyway, that's my ideas, large and small. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button and feel free to do the other YouTube things. Comments are welcome. If you have a better idea or you have a comment on this one, I'd love to hear it. I'm Fezenclop, and remember, it's all in fun, and your mileage may vary.